Hello, I'm Simon. I am the owner of Get On Bay in the centre of Plymouth, and as it turns out, the only sustainable fashion brand in Plymouth. It's a start-up, and it was put together about a year or so ago with the direction of just creating a totally organic, totally vegan and totally ethical non-fast fashion brand. So I wanted to create something that was just a little bit nicer for the planet. So I'm, first and foremost, I'm a web designer. I run a small design agency here in the city. An ethical part of my business is that all of my servers are powered by solar and wind. And this is really, really important for me. My office is also part powered by solar power as well. And that's also quite important. And I think, you know, if you're using a lot of resources for a business, you should be doing as much as you possibly can to be nicer to the planet. And I wanted to do something that was first and foremost ethical. And that's why Get On Bay was created. I've created all the designs and chose all the colours really, really carefully because I wanted it to reflect not only the organic kind of feel about what Get On Bay stands for, which is clean, which is plastic free, which is we live in a marine city. So the colours are actually marine green and shell yellow, and that's why we call them those two colours. So it's all about being good to the planet, I suppose.
So another question I had for you is, why do you think being sustainable is so important? Like, why is it important to you as well?
I don't think it's necessarily important to me as an individual. I think it's important to the planet. Fast fashion is the most polluting industry for the amount of wastage, for the amount of plastic that goes into it. And ethically speaking, it's also one of the most renowned industries that uses child labour. And that's not okay in any stretch of the imagination. And I think, if anything, I wanted to prove to myself and anyone else that's interested in it is that fashion can be ethical, fashion can be plastic free, fashion can be nice to the planet. You know, the website is powered exclusively by green energy. That's the very first step. So you're viewing it on your device, it's green from the get-go, right? All the way through the process from when the order is picked up at the printers do their thing over there and they package it up and then they send it out. Not one bit of plastic is used in that process whatsoever, not one. And that for me was something that I just thought, I wonder if I can do that. So if I can do it, why can't other industries do it as well? Why do they have to use vast quantities of plastic that have got a half-life of, I don't even know how many hundreds of years, that just gets buried into the ground? You know, I thought, well, I've done it. And this is the result. And it would be really, really good if other larger industries kind of stood up and just went, well, we can do that as well. Why don't we do that as well? All the inks that we use in the process are completely non-toxic. They're completely organic. And they wear really well. They look really, really nice. All of the t-shirts are, they're either recycled, they're bamboo, they're cotton, ethically sourced cotton as well. And we can trace that all the way back to where it comes from. But there's no plastic, there's nothing bad about it whatsoever. So if I can do it, I reckon other people can do it as well.
What would you say your most achievement you're most proud of so far with business?
To the point where we're now ready to launch as an official business in the city, I think taking that one step to be able to launch it out, to get it ready. You know, I've taken a lot of advice, I've done a bit of market research, I've had some really good advice from friends, from other designers, and I think I'm proud of the whole thing. As far as Get On Bay is concerned, there's not one thing that I'm more or less proud of. You know, from the social media, to the branding, to the colour, to the designs, to the website, to the printing of all these little bits and pieces. You know, literally just a one-man band. So I think that's quite an achievement in itself. I think the next step is turning it into a successful business, because the entirety of it is there, waiting just to happen. You know, so that would be a really, really proud moment.
It's really, really exciting. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited,
I think
right?
it's going to be really great.
Yeah.
How would you say other people can make sustainable choices So what advice would you give to someone who wants to become more sustainable but isn't really sure where to start?
There are certain things that people can do to make better choices in life, but it's not just about ethical and sustainable. It's also about just good, positive life choices.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Get On Bay especially stands for, is whilst we can absolutely evidence that that the entire process from purchase to the product arriving at your front door is plastic free, is ethical, is vegan, is everything that every single brand potentially could be, and we can evidence that absolutely. It's not always possible to choose that particular lifestyle. It's not always possible, and actually quite a lot of people aren't always conscious of that particular direction to take because it's not the first thing they think about. If you go and buy a t-shirt from Temu, for example, it's 100% polyester, which is plastic, or nylon, or whatever. It's all plastic. It comes from China, it wraps in plastic, and it arrives in your front door in plastic. So you just think how much of that process has just been totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
And that fast fashion, that t-shirt probably won't last very long, because our t-shirts are really, really heavyweight. They're really good quality t-shirts. They'll last that much longer than a t-shirt from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so like obviously continuing on the point that you made, would you say, like, do you think shopping sustainably is difficult for people? Would you like?
Yeah, I think it is, because not every single brand that sells, every single reseller, for example, that sells on Amazon or eBay or Temu, for example, you know, if you want something that's got an ethical or sustainable background, then you can go and hunt for it.
Yeah.
But if you just want something, if you want to buy something online, chances are it's not sustainable. You know, it's the bitter irony that supermarkets charge 15-20p for a plastic bag, but all the stuff that you put into your plastic bag is plastic. All our meat and all our vegetables and cucumbers come wrapped in plastic. You know, and we've got to pay more for more plastic. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
You know, we can do better, but if somebody wants to be to shop environmentally friendly and sustainably and ethically as possible, they need to go out and really search for those places that will be able to provide those kind of products for them. Ultimately, you're just going to buy whatever it is that you want and get it delivered to your front door, or go to the shop to go and get it, but it's not. So it is really difficult. And like I said earlier on, it's really important that to realise that smaller companies can do more to be better in terms of their processes and brands, for example, like the fashion brands, fast fashion. They can do more to have ethical processes and printing, and you know, it's cost. I suppose it comes down to cost. The more ethical and the more vegan and the more plastic free they are, the prices seem to go up because it just costs more. And I think a lot of people, especially in 2025, are turned off by that sort of thing because it's about cost for them. Would you rather buy a t-shirt that cost you £5 and looks good for a year, or would you rather buy a t-shirt that costs £25, still looks good, but it will look really good for 3, 4, 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
I think it's a great concept.